Mayor Miller,
Here.
Alderpersons Clem,
Here.
Monroe will be marked absent for now. Simmons,
Here.
Parker,
Here.
Stacy is absent. Shadle,
Here.
Sanders, and Sellers is absent. But we do have a quorum.
Do the pledge first, or?
I think we should do it right now, right away, yeah.
Want me to do it? Are you pointing your finger?
Yeah, I gotta chair it, so,
Okay.
no, the motion.
Oh, is he gonna be on the finance too? Okay. We need a motion for Alderman Monroe to be brought in remotely.
Motion by Clem, do we have a second?
Yes, we do. In addition to that.
Second by Sanders.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Chair, we need to do all roll call vote when we have somebody not
Oh, okay.
attending remotely.
My apologies.
Okay. Clem, aye. Monroe, he's on the phone. Simmons? Actually, that's Debbie's
Hey, Tom.
Excuse me, Debbie.
Hey, Tom, what you doing?
He's a new alderman. Get a couple extra bucks here. Give me a break.
What were you getting? What were your votes? Clem,
Clem, aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker,
A long time.
Shadle,
Aye.
and Sanders.
Aye.
The motion passes 5-0.
You know, I took 4 years off of this, just to remind you.
I will mark him present at 5:04. Sorry.
Okay. Next on the agenda would be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
So move. Don't let anything die for lack of second, guys.
Second.
Second, thank you. All in favor? Or do we?
All votes need to be by roll call, sorry. Let's start with Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Clem,
Aye.
Monroe,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
and Parker.
Aye.
The motion passes 6-0.
Okay, looking for the approval of the minutes from October 2nd, 2023 Finance Committee of the Whole meetings.
So move.
Second.
And if you could take the roll, please.
I have Clem and Parker. Did I hear
Yes.
correctly? Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Clem,
Aye.
Monroe,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
and Parker.
Aye.
The minutes are approved, 6-0.
And item 6 would be public comments on agenda items.
I don't think there was anyone signed in.
Nobody there. And comes next on item 8 is, item 7 is discussion of the following: City Manager Boyer or Director Richter on tax levies and tax abatements.
Thank you, Alderman Shadle. I'll just get the light here and ask Kurt to put my spreadsheet up. Attached to the agenda this evening is my background memo. And this spreadsheet, it would actually be the other file. Attached to the, let me start again, the agenda is my background for the city's levy, and the spreadsheets and my memo. The city has received the estimated 2023 equalized assessed value, or the EAV, from the county. The EAV this year has increased by $1,132,831, or just 0.5% over last year. Based on this information, the city's corporate tax levy for 2023 that is actually paid on your property taxes in 2024 would be $2,837,000, an increase of $11,886. A house valued at $100,000 would see no increase in the city portion of their property tax bill as long as their assessed valuation does not rise. Similar to the city, due to the increase in the EAV, the library will also see an increase in their corporate levy of about $9,939. However, the library will be reducing their request for Medicare, liability insurance, unemployment, and IMRF in order to spend down prior receipts in these areas. It is important to note that once these funds have been spent, we will need to increase these items back to their current levels. A house valued at $100,000 would see a decrease of about $7, $7 for the library's levy. During the past 5 years, the City Council has tried to keep the tax rate the same. The tax rate is the amount levied on property. A home that has not seen an increase in assessed value will be paying the same amount in city property taxes and less in library property taxes for the coming year. It's also important to know that the tax levy must be submitted to the county clerk before the last Tuesday in December. So that action item needs to be completed before then, so it can be filed. I asked Kurt to put on the screen the calculations for the levy. So the one on the screen right now is for the city's levy. And I'll just kind of point to the bottom of the screen for the moment, the tax levy history. So you can see over the past years, we have from 2016 up to 2023 listed on the bottom of your spreadsheet, telling you what the EAV has been over these past few years, how it has risen. You can see, by what percent, and you see we get to that 2023 line, and that the EAV has just increased about 0.47%, or a little less than 0.5% over this year from the numbers that we've gotten from the county. Since we're keeping our tax rate the same as we have in the past, the amount that the city would receive from the levy would be the $2,837,000 that would be generated from our taxes, which would be an increase of $11,000, almost $12,000 to our budget for 2024. Is there any questions on the city's levy? And then I'll look at the library.
You don't have an extra copy of that, do you?
No, but I can share.
Okay, sure.
I'll move on.
I can watch
One.
that.
We have a-
Yeah. Wait till we get done here. If
Sure.
Hello, this is James.
you're back. How's your back? Okay. Couple questions. So basically, from what you've just told us, the budget, if the levy remains the same, there'll be enough funding, et cetera, correct?
There'll be, what'd you say at the
There'll be
end?
enough funding as is
As what, yes,
without raising a levy. And I'd also like to have you keep in mind, because it happened to me last year, you'll find that the township assessor is doing what they're not supposed to do, but chasing taxes, chasing sales. So that means that any area that's had a house that's sold at the inflated prices, the EAV is going up considerably more than what it has been. Now, I'm not saying you're going to see a big increase in that, but I know in our 50 condos, I'm sure it was blessed with a fair amount of funds based on 3 condos. So that's one thing that's always also happening. I mean, it's good news that you said that, but I also want to mention that I think that might enter into the equation more than we think. Thank you. Sorry.
I'll just move on to the library's levy. The library's levy was discussed by the library board already, and they have seen these exact same numbers. Thank you, Kurt. You'll see from the library, they levy in different areas in the city. The city property taxes. The library does it a little bit different. They have corporate, but they also levy for IMRF, which is Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund. That's the pension component. Their liability insurance, their unemployment insurance, and Medicare. So, like I said, they do it just a little bit differently. But it's similar to the city, though. They have the exact same EAV that they're working with that rose less than 0.5%. They are actually going to be spending down some property taxes in IMRF, liability insurance, unemployment, and Medicare, and so they will be asking for a little less this year. But it is important to note, like I said in my memo, what we're doing is, if you levy for a particular item like IMRF, you spend it in IMRF. If you levy for liability insurance, you spend it in liability insurance. So we are spending down a little bit of extra this year, but please be aware that we're going to need this to go back up again once we spend that down. But you'll see here the library is levying $970,000 for corporate, and then there's the other divisions there you can see for the rest of those. A house that has not seen an increase will see a reduction of about $7. You can buy a couple cups of coffee with that.
When you say that these levies are going to have to go back up, you're talking in subsequent years?
Yeah.
Not during the year. We're locked in to the levy for this year.
You're exactly right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions on that? And you could move on to the tax abatements then.
Okay. If I can find my memo. So the bond abatements, let me go into the background of that. So the city right now has 10 general obligation bonds. When general obligation bonds are issued, they're backed by the city's ability to levy and collect property taxes. As such, the county automatically levies the required annual debt service directly from City of Freeport property owners on their property tax bill. The city has historically abated or canceled the property taxes that would otherwise be collected to pay these city debts. Through the abatement process, the property taxes that would otherwise be levied and collected from residents is abated or canceled. The city instead makes the debt service payments from other revenues. So I asked Kurt to put up here the spreadsheet. These are our 10 bonds, and in 2024, those amounts right there would be due on all of those bonds. So the council goes through and abates every one of these bonds. It's a separate ordinance, so it's 10 ordinances that will come before you to tell the county to not put these amounts on property taxes. Because as the spreadsheet indicates, we have a funding source to pay those. Whenever the city has gone out for issuing debt or issuing bonds, we have a dedicated property source of revenue to pay those bonds, and we don't want those costs to be passed on to property owners. So we will be at the next council meeting presenting to council these 10 ordinances that abate these bonds.
Any questions?
Alderman Chandler?
Alderman Clem, go ahead.
Just for the new alderman and a lot of people listening, this is done yearly and has been done yearly all along. And basically, like Michelle brought up, is these taxes are paid by other sources, so that's the reason that the taxes are abated. So this isn't anything new. It's just something, a piece of paperwork that we basically do every year.
Alderman Sanders.
Yeah, I want to I want to mention it to Michelle, I guess you might say. Is there available a terminology and define manuals or anything that we're supposed to be understanding? Is there a dictionary to these finance statements that are being made, and the ones that how the calculations of all of this is what I want to say, slotted for each term? I just want to know if there's such a information where I can sit down and listen to this chamber and understand where this stuff come from, where these numbers come from, and how we got there. I just need to define them, understand them, and then I want to go. I want to walk along the pages as well. You know, I don't want to be jumping all over the pages trying to figure out how do I define such statements or such numbers that are being presented here. Make it easy for us, since it is, since we are new to this and we have not been clued in or educated by the finance department as of yet. So we need to look at that again, and we need the tools to operate with. Is that okay?
Oh, of course, Alderman Sanders. I know the numbers actually come from the bond documents and also the payoff schedules for each of the bonds. Now, as far as the dictionary or kind of maybe describing abatements
Exactly.
in more detail.
Yeah, I don't want to be sitting in this room with a headache trying to figure out what you already know. Okay? Take us through the sequence of events of how we break these things down. That would help me, others who have not studied the way we do things here at the hall here. That would be grateful for all of us to be able to have a handbook of some sort that will give us at least a head start on it anyway, that we can understand.
Manager Boyer, you have a comment?
Alderman Sanders, I just wanted to address that. If it pleases you, I'd like to set up a time where we can go over that, and then I'll provide you with some reference material
Sure.
to navigate
Okay.
that. Okay.
That sounds good. How about my sister?
Of course, everybody.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We're the world of acronyms.
Did you have anything else yet, Michelle?
No, I did not.
That was it?
Can I just add something?
Certainly.
Sure.
Director Richter, at the time that we were looking at the possibility of losing home rule, weren't we looking at not abating some of these?
I believe the thought was, when we were looking for what are we going to do, and that's why we, kind of put together how much would it cost on that spreadsheet there. How much would it cost if we left them alone and did not abate them?
And so we
But-
could, the council has the power to not abate as well. correct?
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes, they do. But since we do have the funding source locked down and ready to fulfill these obligations, we'd prefer to do it that way.
Alderman Shadle?
Thank you. Alderman Clem.
I spoke a lot on home rule, and one of the things that brought up was these taxes or these amounts could be passed on to the people afterwards if it didn't pass. In other words, that debt could be passed on. It wasn't a matter of it wouldn't go away. We had ceased a funding source for it at that time, and when that funding source didn't come through, then it could be a place that they could be used. It was kind of how it was, Is that right? Thank you.
Do you have something?
No.
No. All right. Item 8 would be budget discussion, if there's any more discussion on the topics.
Alderman Shadle?
Yes.
One of the things I think we make sure we need to highlight and was brought up here tonight was the fact that, Michelle brought up the fact that the levy has to be done by the second, I believe, the second week in December. So as we keep in mind here, you know, we're gonna be into one more meeting and then it's Thanksgiving and then we're into the, starting in December. So that's not as far off as what we need to. So, you know, we need to start taking a look at anything that there's questions on, or that kind of stuff. So if we need to change anything in that, we can, and have it up for notification so people know it and everything.
Yes. Any other discussion? Director Richter?
If I may, next meeting next week, we will be bringing the 2024 appropriation ordinance for first reading. It's my understanding if there are changes, they can be voted on and done before second reading or between first and second reading, I believe. So I just wanted to kind of bring our time frame up. We're planning on bringing the appropriation ordinance next week, along with the first readings for the abatements and the tax levy.
Thank you. That,
If I could, also, if I could, I'd really like to thank you guys and please take a look at this if you haven't, the budget comparisons over the years. I haven't had a chance to totally go through it, but there's some things that you might stick out to you that you might have a question on. Make sure we get those into to the city manager and Michelle, so we can answer. So if you need an answer to what some of the increases are or decreases are, you can easily get it. But thanks for the document. I really appreciate it.
yes. Anything else? Alderman Sanders?
All of this that I'm listening to is comprehensive, am I correct? Everything that we're going over is comprehensive?
Yeah, I mean,
So
you've
we can
seen
properly-
everything I have.
Yeah, so we can properly study what's coming forward before it even gets here. We need to have an examination or analysis of all of the stuff that is being presented to us. So we have plenty of time to study what our councilmen are talking about, and not only that, but yourself. So we need that information way before we begin the process of listening to the outcome. Okay? Is that okay?
Well, we've been pretty much, for all of these finance committee, the whole meetings, all that stuff has been brought up
Has it?
at each meeting.
So in other words, what you're saying is we missed those particular meetings that made those types of discussions. Am I correct?
There should have been within your mail packet.
Yeah, but it doesn't define all of the items that you guys went through. If it did, then I need those.
Yeah,
I
and
need
you
those.
should have got these.
Yeah, I do
in your
have
packet,
those. Yeah,
and
I do.
they've got a line item for everything in every budget.
And it talks about all the details of
Every-
each one?
Every line item is on there.
No, that's not the question. The question is, does it break it down in details? You just got numbers written up there.
Well, that's,
That's all you got, so, excuse me for my ignorance, you know, but, that's not a breakdown.
Manager Boyer.
Alderman Sanders will be happy to get that together for you. We'll just set up a time, and if there's any questions, we can go through it in as detail as you want, and that
Yeah,
would be fine.
make sure we get copies of that. So, that's all I have, that's all I have.
Okay. Item 9 would be a motion that the minutes of meetings shall be deemed approved and signed by the chair and the vice chair of the Finance Committee of the whole.
So move.
We have a second? Second by Parker. And we need a Roll call vote.
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Clem,
Aye.
Monroe,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
And there's, item 10 is public comments for agenda or non-agenda items. 3 minutes per person, please. Nobody? I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Third.
Do we have to take a roll on that as well, Doug, or
I guess we can, probably wouldn't hurt.
let's do it for safety?
Shadle,
Aye.
Sanders,
Aye.
Clem,
Aye.
Monroe,
Aye.
Simmons,
Aye.
and Parker.
Aye.
Adjournment was voted in favor, 6-0.